In the subway, a baby is crying really loudly and annoying everyone. A passenger eventually snaps and starts yelling at the mother, which only makes the noise worse. A man watching all this puts on his earbuds to ignore them. At that moment, he gets a call from his ex-girlfriend, but he declines it. At the next station, the man gets off the train and receives another call. He reluctantly answers it and tells his ex-girlfriend that he's on his way to work. She explains that she's at the hospital and a doctor has confirmed she's pregnant, so she wants his opinion. He's so shocked by the news that he bumps into a random person and drops his phone, causing him to miss half of what his ex has to say. Suddenly he starts having an asthma attack and has to use his inhaler to calm down. He says that he'll take time off for her, but she tells him not to bother because she's already made up her mind. When he tries to ask what she means, his phone loses signal and the call ends. The man then takes a corridor with a sign that says to exit 8 and only has one other person walking nearby. After passing by another sign for exit 0, he makes a turn and is shocked to find himself back at the previous sign with the other guy. For now he just keeps moving, however he ends up in the same spot again. Confused by the situation, he looks at the other guy and doesn't see that the back of the sign says turn back 3 times. He decides to keep moving and once again he returns to the same place. This time he turns around and is startled by the other guy awkwardly smiling at him. The man runs away in fear, but the same thing happens, so he turns around and runs in the opposite direction. Unfortunately, this also takes him to the same spot. The lost man notices the emergency alarm on the wall and presses it, but it isn't working. Then he tries the 3 doors in the corridor, however they're all locked. When he stares at a poster on the wall, he's shocked to see blood falling and he steps back, only to feel blood dripping on his head from sign 8. The terrified man begins running again, and after seeing the other guy on his phone, he finds a sign for exit 1, which means the corridor has finally changed. Another sign next to that one has a set of instructions. It says that he must pay attention to anomalies, because if he ever sees one, he must turn back immediately. If he doesn't see any, he can walk forward. The real exit is 8. The lost man keeps walking and returns to the same spot, but the blood is gone and the sign doesn't say turn back anymore. He concludes that must have been the anomaly. When the other guy appears, the lost man tries asking him some questions, but he is ignored. Then he keeps walking and gets another asthma attack when he finds sign 0 again. After using his inhaler, the lost man continues to move, and this time he's determined to keep an eye out for anomalies. He takes pictures of every detail of the corridor with his phone, including each poster, the other guy's face, the emergency alarm, every door, plus the photo booth and the lockers around the corner. The last poster has number 1, so the man realizes the numbers can go up. When he checks his phone, he discovers that all the pictures have yellow static and are useless. He decides to keep going and trust his memory, checking every detail as he walks. When he turns around, he finds the other guy smiling at him and realizes that this is an anomaly, so he turns back. The creepy guy starts following him, and after seeing him a few times, the lost man runs in fear until he trips and falls around the corner. Now the other guy stands calmly while looking at his phone. The lost man gets his water bottle from his bag to take a sip as he keeps on walking and finally notices that the sign says 2, so he's making progress. Afterward he returns to the same spot and starts looking at all the details again. Everything appears to be fine and he gets ready to leave, but at that moment he hears crying inside a locker. He looks inside and sees a baby, so he immediately closes the door again. Suddenly a baby starts crying in every locker at the same time, and since this is an anomaly, the lost man runs back until he finds the sign that says 3. When he makes it to the same spot, he starts checking for anomalies while having trouble breathing. Once he's sure it's safe, he takes out his inhaler but accidentally drops it. At that moment he realizes that all the eyes on the posters are moving to follow him, so he quickly picks up his inhaler and starts going back. The eyes continue to follow him until he's left the corridor, and soon he finds sign number 4. Back in the main spot, he checks everything and doesn't see any anomalies, so he advances until he sees sign number 5. Then he repeats the process, but while checking for anomalies, he's interrupted by a call from his ex-girlfriend. When he answers it, she asks him if he's made a decision about the situation. The lost man is so distracted by this that he doesn't hear the babies crying in the background. He tells her about the incident in the subway, pointing out that nobody helped the mother and how guilty he feels for ignoring her too. He cries as he admits he's not father material. The lost man keeps walking while telling his ex he'll see her soon, not noticing that she's right behind him. When he finds the sign, it says 0 again, proving that the call was an anomaly and his progress has been reset. He has no choice but to start over, and this time the main spot has turned yellow. Furious, he throws his bag on the ground, only for an asthma attack to follow. The lost man falls and throws up before collapsing. For several seconds he can do nothing but squirm and scream in anger. Eventually he calms down and reminds himself not to give up. He abandons his bag and turns around, walking until he finds sign number 1 again. The next time he reaches the spot, he sees a young boy instead of the other guy, so he assumes it's an anomaly and goes back. However, the sign has a 0 again, confusing the lost man. When he turns around he sees the little boy and notices a scar on his cheek. He tries talking to him, but the boy just runs away. The lost man follows him to the main area and finds the child pointing at the other guy. A flashback reveals that the other guy used to be a normal human who also got stuck in this strange place. When he found the child, he took his hand and brought him along to try to escape together, although the boy never said a word. Back then, the other walking person was a high school girl. After passing sign 5, the girl finally talked to him, saying she was also lost and wanted to team up. The man agreed, and while they looked for anomalies, the girl wondered if they were dead and this was purgatory. She creepily asked him if he felt guilty about something, only to laugh and say she was joking. Then she wondered if the man truly wanted to get out and invited him to stay, saying that his routine was pathetic. Suddenly she started to repeat that phrase over and over before freezing for a few seconds, followed by her snapping and talking in a weird voice. Finally realizing that she was the anomaly, the man and the boy ran back and found sign number 6. In the main area, the girl was walking again while the duo checked for anomalies. The child stared at a door with a knob in the middle that wasn't there before, but he still wouldn't talk. The man didn't notice the knob and took the child to move ahead, only to find the sign back on 0. Furious, the man ripped off the instruction sign and threw it on the ground as he had a breakdown. Once he calmed down, he apologized to the child and they started over. In the main area they found the stairs to the exit, and the man excitedly ran toward them. However, the kid kept pulling to stop him until he fell and scraped his cheek. The man asked him to come with him, but the boy refused to move, so the guy ran up the stairs alone. Meanwhile, the child walked back and found sign number 1, confirming that the stairs were an anomaly. When he reached the usual spot, he found the guy walking with a cold expression on his face. The kid tried to pull at his hands to no avail, confirming that the man had become part of the loop. In the present, the lost man stares at the 0 and realizes that the boy isn't an anomaly, so he invites him to come along. They reach the main area and the child points at the other guy, making the lost man realize that he isn't a real human anymore. The boy then stares at the back of the sign which says turn back again, but he still won't speak. The lost man doesn't see this and believes there are no anomalies, so they keep walking and end up on sign 0 again. Without hesitation, the duo starts over, and this time the man notices that the art in one of the posters has changed. He announces that there's an anomaly and wants to come back, but the kid keeps moving ahead. The man follows him and is shocked to find sign number 1, so the boy seems to know what he's doing. During the next loop, the man doesn't notice anything, but the child stares at the door with the knob in the middle. This makes the lost man see it too, and together they turn back until they find sign number 2. When they enter the main area again, the lights go out. The lost man turns on the flashlight on his phone and he's startled by a sudden noise. It turns out the ventilation lid has fallen and blood is now dripping from the hole. As they hear a crying baby in the vents, the lost man turns around and almost bumps into the other guy, who keeps moving as usual. Then a rat runs near his feet and the baby's noises get worse. The man raises his flashlight to look at the sign and is horrified to discover that there are several rats with human parts attached to their backs. The mouth on a rat screeches at him and startles him into dropping his phone, so now the corridor is dark again. Thankfully the kid finds it and together they start running back. The lights then start flickering, revealing lots of bloodstains and creepy rats on the floor. Eventually they turn the corner and the lights work normally again when they find sign 3. In the next loop, they see a cat running away and a woman taking over its spot. The kid finally speaks to call her mama and tries to run to her, but the lost man realizes it's an anomaly and holds him back. The woman touches her belly and asks the old man what he wants to do while he struggles with the desperate child, who ends up passing out. After finding sign number 4, the man sits to wait until the child awakens. He asks him what happened, so the boy explains he got separated from his mother on purpose because he wanted her to look for him. The man admits he did the same to his mom once, and chatting about their childhoods reveals neither of them met their fathers. The duo returns to the main area and the kid immediately speaks when he sees the number 8 on the sign upside down. They go back and pass sign number 5 to enter the next loop. This time one of the doors opens, so they peek inside. In the darkness, the man sees himself in the subway ignoring the baby and the yelling passenger. Ashamed of himself, he closes the door and takes the kid back so they can find sign number 6. Before continuing, the man asks the boy what he wants to do when they come out. The kid says he wants pizza, but the man doesn't know how to answer his own question. Seeing him in distress, the child gifts him a shell for protection. In the next loop, the duo is checking the details when suddenly they hear an alarm. A huge wave of brown water then starts filling the corridor and the man begins to run, but the child trips and falls. When the man turns around to help him, the water covers them both. A dream then shows the lost man and his ex on the beach while their future kid plays in the water. They discuss the situation and the woman tells him that she truly believes he'll protect his son. The boy then brings him a shell for protection, and the lost man realizes that his kid is the same boy from the corridor. He hugs him tightly and plays with him in the water. In the corridor, the man resurfaces with the boy in his arms and together they hold on to the sign while the water keeps running around them. Unfortunately, it's too strong and pushes the lost man until he lets go of the sign, carrying him away from the child. Moments later, the boy wakes up on the floor. The water is gone and has left lots of debris behind, but the lost man is nowhere in sight. Since the water was an anomaly, the kid walks back and finds sign number 7. He keeps moving and doesn't find anything different in the main area, so he walks ahead and disappears around the corner. Afterward, the lost man reappears and he doesn't see anything either, so he moves forward until he finally finds sign number 8 right next to the stairs. After looking at the shell, he starts going down and soon the normal crowd appears around him. His phone has signal again and he can use it to buy a drink. Then he calls his ex and promises he's on his way to the hospital to be with her. When the man gets on the subway, the baby starts crying and the passenger yells at the mother again. This time, the lost man turns around and tries to help.